Guys, what we're going to do today, we have moved into our groups, and we're going to do some group work. We're going to work on some leveled questions. I know that we've done this before, and I know you do this out in social studies. We're going to work on 3 levels of questioning, okay? And I'm going to give you a sheet for your group that you can look at for help with some examples on it. And before we get into that, let's talk about these 3 levels of questioning. And then I'm going to give you the sheet that I'm talking about. All right, our first level is the literal level. Familiar with the literal level? We talked about it before. Have we talked about it in here? What's literal mean? Jacob, what's literal mean? You can read it off of here if you want to.
Level 1 reading.
Okay, so it's on the line. I can find it. I can make up a question, and I can go in the book, and I can find the answer. We're thinking more about level 2, which is the inferential level. Okay, this is when, y'all know that little word? What word do you see in there?
Infer.
Infer. It means to read where? Between the lines. Between the lines. So I can't go in the book and just find the answer and put my finger on the answer in the book. Okay? Sometimes things are implied and I can figure it out. And this is our goal. This is what we're working towards. Okay? We're not quite right on with these yet. Okay? Thematic. Beyond the lines. Okay? Let me tell you what mistakes that we sometimes make with the thematic level. We're so good at our evidence. And we're so good at proving our answers in here. Okay? We've really worked on that, all this text-based evidence. But whenever you have a thematic question, it's something that you're not going to go find in the book. And you're not going to have text evidence. This moves beyond the book. This thematic moves into our own lives. This is how does this apply to my life? If we look at our level 1 questions, our level 1 questions are the who, the what, the when. Okay? Look at my questions that I made up yesterday. I made up for us. Question 1. How did Johnny get a permanent scar on his face? Can I go in the book The Outsiders and find this answer?
Yes.
Yes. Level 2 questions. These are the interpretive questions. These are when you have to infer. You have to read between the lines. Level 2 question. Ponyboy mentions many times that he does not like Dallas Winston. Yet when Dallas dies, Ponyboy calls him Gallant. Why? So do you see how this is a level 2 question? You can't really find the answer in the book. You have to read between the lines, you have to infer, and you have to figure it out yourself. One that we're working on, we're getting better at all the time, are level 3 questions. Okay? Beyond the book, into the universal. Universal meaning questions. Think theme. Here's our question. How can being from the wrong side of the tracks have a negative effect on a person's life? Now, I want you to think for a second. Jacob, the book is about 2 gangs, right? Okay? One gang, the socials are rich. They're wealthy. They have great lives. They seem to get all the, remember what Ponyboy would always say? They seem to get all the breaks. Y'all remember? Okay? And then Ponyboy and his gang of friends are from where?
The wrong side.
They're from the wrong side of the tracks. So, I learn about this as I read the book, but I'm taking it beyond the book. I'm going out into the real world. You might be from the wrong side of the tracks. Now, within your group, I want you to remember, anytime we work in a group, we have a rubric. And our rubric is we're self-assessing, we're grading ourselves, okay? So we're going to pass out the rubrics. We'll get the rubrics as well. Everybody's got a sheet at their desk. What you are to do within your group, you are to create one. I'm not really worried about the level 1 questions, Connor, okay? I'm not really worried about those. We're going to create one level 1 question. Your group can answer it yourself, okay? What I'm looking for is a level 2 and a level 3 question. Okay, Molly? You create the question. You decide with your group. But then we're going to take that index card and we're going to give it to another group. And another group has to try to answer your question. We've got our rubrics we'll go ahead and pass out. And we've got our index cards. We're going to pass out 2 index cards per group. Okay? Go ahead and start talking with your group. Where are these questions going to come from? Night. Our book Night that we've been reading. We're going to focus on chapters 3 through 7. Chapters 3 through 7. Why do you think I'm going to start on chapter 3? Why wouldn't I start at the very beginning of the book? Why am I going to start on chapter 3, Kylie?
Because in the beginning of the book, all we're doing is like
Yeah, in the beginning of the book, we don't have much action. The action doesn't really get propelled until we move into chapter 3. And that's when things really start moving along quickly. So between chapters 3 and chapter 7, okay? That's our focus. I notice a couple people have already pulled out their Bloom's taxonomy from maybe some social studies. That's a great idea. Think about whenever he says he's passionate. You know, if you ask yourself, why is he calling himself? You know, why is he comparing himself?
What can you say about What can you say about
It doesn't say
Not moving. Brandon, you got your left
you
one?
can read between the lines that you start to lose faith in God.
Can you pinpoint that? Can you
In the
find
book,
that?
Ellie talks about how he loses faith in God, but it doesn't say it directly everything. He says that he feels like God doesn't exist. Why do you think, directed it to the reader, that Ellie started to lose faith in God? Because in the book, it doesn't say directly.
Why does Ellie start losing? Why does Ellie start losing faith in God?
And he doesn't say it directly. He says, I feel like God doesn't exist.
Can I go in the book and find how selection
Where is my God? But he doesn't say, I start losing my faith in God because...
Get in the book.
What can you
That's a metaphor. And the reason I'm comparing myself to ashes is because, okay, so your job is to say things like, when Ellie was young,
Can you explain what happened to her?
what do you mean? What Larry advice is that think about all
Yeah,
the
but
stuff I'm saying.
don't you like the example?
You see what I'm saying?
Can you explain? Can you use that for level 2?
I don't want something that I can go and look it up and find it in the book so easily. Between the lines,
find
it
the
came
quote
from the book,
where
but I can't
says
just
that he
read the
never
book
saw
and
his
find the
sister.
answer and write it down in black and white.
Okay.
It would be in chapter 1, beginning of chapter 2.
So then, after they what, like when they were in selections, just when
Okay, let's talk about this faith in God thing.
3.
Let's think about, what level are y'all working on? 2 or 3? Okay, the faith in God, to lose his faith in God is definitely
Actually, I found a good
a
one.
real life situation. Okay, so for your level 3 question,
I'll use those
thinking about mentally
that's like algorithm.
things like that. Okay, so think about from not just the perspective of Ellie Wiesel, moving to the perspective of yourself or other people. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Anytime you put yourself in a situation, or anytime you're talking about how it relates to the outside, to the real world, and not just the book, that's going to be your level 3 matter than that. Things, lessons about the lessons about
I got it. I got one.
We gotta look for like
I got the answer.
right, and so you can infer that all of these horrific things he's going through, he never really comes out and says, I'm losing my faith because this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. So you're inferring. That's a really good question. You are inferring and you're figuring out on your own, well, he's gone through this, he's seen this happen, he saw this happen. So therefore, that's why he's losing his faith. So, but I can't go and just find it in the book. I infer, I figure it out of mine. That's a good one. And that God question will be a good level 3 question too. Remember, take it from the book out into the world. You understand? Okay, good. Very good.
He begins losing faith in God after witnessing and experiencing the harsh experiences of Auschwitz.
Be sure y'all look at the examples I gave you too, okay? I realize y'all are using this and this is helpful. Look at the examples that I gave you, okay? Think about literary devices. Think about symbolism.
We can apply it to the real world by saying, why have you ever lost faith in someone or even God after seeing or doing something?
Okay,
Or experiencing or
he started
witnessing
saying
something.
something in chapter 2,
So-
but he talked about it more in
Not
chapter
just
2.
experiencing them, but seeing something like Ellie saw
Yeah, because... Okay, do you have a level 3 question? All right, let me hear your level 3 question.
How can a mentally strong person survive longer than a person who's physically strong?
Okay, how can a person that's mentally strong survive longer than a person that's physically strong? Okay, I would think this is a pretty good question. I understand where you got it from. You're talking about people in the concentration camps that are mentally strong don't make it as long, or that make it longer sometimes than people that seem physically strong. Okay, what I would want you to do is I would want you to maybe give me a circumstance, give me a situation that you're talking about. But it's not from the concentration camp, a real life situation. Okay, because we're moving into the real world out of the book. Okay, but it's really good. All right, what about y'all? Y'all got a, what do y'all want to share? Y'all want to share me a level 1 or a level 2? I mean, I'm sorry, level 2 or level 3?
3.
All right, what you got?
What would result if Ellie and his father stayed in Boona? They would probably...
Okay, what would be the result is if Ellie and his father stayed in Boona? Okay, level 2, in the infirmary, okay? So, because we don't really know, they had to make a decision, and they chose to leave. So what might have happened if they stayed?
They would probably have been liberated 2 days later by the Russians, or they could have died.
Okay, so there were 2 things that could have possibly happened to them, and I cannot find that in the book. You do the one about strength, about mental versus physical strength.
She said you can do it.
Have you ever run?
Why does Ellie Wiesel use the word?
If you and I took off running.
Throughout the book, Ellie says, I'm in a cemetery.
Longer than me, or I could run
This is a
longer.
cemetery. Why does he use the word cemetery to describe one?
Right. I may seem like I'm older and probably more out of shape, but I'm really mentally strong and I can push through it. I might be really super competitive, and in my mind, I'm going to win no matter what. If I fall out, I'm going to win. You see what I'm saying? So think about it along those lines. So someone that's mentally strong sometimes is stronger than that physically strong person.
You're saying you're the
That's why
cemetery
people
because Ellie saw people
when they see someone who
die.
goes like a man dying, it takes
So many
them back
people.
because you don't think that someone
Ellie
that's
uses the word
physically
cemetery
strong
to describe the concentration camp.
Level 3 questions require level 3 answers. You're not going to answer a level 3 question in 2 sentences. Okay? Because y'all, if you look at the answer on the example answer that I gave you, look how many sentences it took me to answer my question. And give a real world example. When you answer your level 3 question, you give an example of a real life situation that either you've been in or that you've heard of. Y'all can come up with examples. Y'all are smart. That's how you answer those level 3 questions.
Situation and like you have to leave the same friends behind to survive. If they're like close to death, it could like really trouble you later on.
Two people with cancer, one might appear to be physically strong, that are strong, they run all the time.
You leave behind, you leave them suffering. That might be what makes you feel guilty.
But if you got them back to like full health, you might could like they might could like help you later on in the future.
For this question, why does Ellie Wiesel use the word to describe a concentration camp?
Why does he use the word cemetery?
Why does he use the word cemetery to describe a random camp? So, what could we...
It's like this is what I put. Ellie Wiesel uses the word cemetery to describe the concentration camp because he witnessed numerous prisoners being murdered daily. He felt the word cemetery described it well
If you
because
just
he
got
felt
like
lots
2
of the bodies
sentences on a
buried
level 3
under his
question,
feet. Cemetery was a good choice of diction because it is a strange and harsh word, strong and harsh word, which the concentration camps are.
So cemetery was like a big, dark, and harsh word of diction. So when you like do it to describe concentration camps, you're telling what concentration camps are really. You use kind of like a figure of speech because they're not necessarily like really cemeteries. They are, but they don't bury them in the grounds and they just burn bodies in cemeteries, crematoriums. Yeah.